This is the first video on speed, distance, time questions, so we'll be doing quite a few videos on this topic. So the first one, we're going to mainly look at the formula, which you would have seen, I expect, in science lessons. So average speed is distance divided by the time, and I like to put that into a formula triangle like this because I think that makes it a lot easier to use. So it's a bit like the ones we use for trigonometry. So you put the speed down there, distance and time. So basically you use that to help you, whichever one you're trying to find, you cover up. So if you're trying to find the distance in a question, you'd cover up the d, and then that means you need to do s times t because they're next to each other on the bottom. If you're trying to find time, cover up the t, and then you've got one above the other, so that means you're going to do distance divided by the speed. And likewise, if you've got the distance and time, and you're trying to find the speed, then you'd cover up the s, and you'd have to do distance divided by time. So first of all, if we have a look at this question here. So we've got a cyclist travels 18 miles in 45 minutes. What is his average speed in miles per hour? So I'm just going to draw out the triangle. So what is his average speed? So I'm trying to work out speed, which is distance divided by time. So the distance is 18 miles, and then the time is 45. Now, one thing to watch out for is that this is in minutes, and then it's asking for the speed in miles per hour, so we're going to have to be careful of that in a minute. So when we do the 18 divided by 45, so I wouldn't worry about the fact that's in minutes for a second, let's just do the calculation. So 18 divided by 45 is 2/5. Or you could change that to 0.4. And you need to think about what units you found that in. Well, our distance was miles and our time is minutes. So that is miles per minute, isn't it? So miles, and you can do that slash sign for per, so miles per minute. But we want it in miles per hour. So you need to think, well, if he's going 0.4 miles in a minute, how many would that be in an hour? And obviously there's 60 minutes in an hour. So we just need to times our answer by 60. So 0.4 times 60 is 24, and then it will be now miles per hour. So I think there are other ways you can do it. You can try and change that into hours before, but a lot of people tend to make mistakes for that because a lot of people would say that that's 0.45 hours, and it's not actually, because that's 3/4 of an hour. So if you really wanted to try and change it into hours, you'd have to say that that is 0.75 hours because it's 3/4 of an hour. And I just think that's more difficult than just working it out as it is and then timesing it by 60 at the end. So the question 2 is really similar. So we're working out average speed. So I'm going to use the same triangle as up here. So it's going to be distance divided by time. So my distance is 48 kilometers and my time is 33 minutes. So again, when we work this out, that's going to be kilometers per minute because my time is in minutes. So 48 divided by 33 is 16/11, or 1.45 recurring. Same as usual with maths questions, don't round anything until we get to the final answer. So I would just keep that on your calculator like that. So that is kilometres per minute, but we want kilometres per hour, so that's going to do 60 lots of that, so 60 minutes in an hour. So just times it by 60. So that would be, now we've got to round this to one decimal place, so it would be 87.3, and now it's in kilometres per hour. Right, question 3 then is a little bit different. So this time we are working out how far. So before I even look at the rest of the question, really, it's always worth just looking at what we're trying to work out. So how far, it's going to be a distance this time. So in your formula triangle here, we're trying to work out distance. So this time we're going to cover up the d, and when they're next to each other, that means we need to times them. So again, it's worth just checking your units and just checking that they are the same. Now today I have kept them the same, but the next video we'll be looking at where the units aren't always the same. So when I say they're the same, this is in hours and that's in kilometres per hour, so therefore it's okay just to put this all in. So speed times the time is going to be 40 times by the time, which is 2.2, so 40 times 2.2 is 88. it does tell you here how far did it travel in kilometres, but if it didn't say that in an exam and you had to come up with the units, well, the speed is kilometres per hour, so therefore it must have been kilometres, so 88 kilometres. And then the last one then, so how long does it take him in seconds? So again, you can see as I've read that, I've not even looked at that bit, I've just looked at this, so how long, so therefore it's a time this time. So I'm going to cover up the t, and I've got to do the distance divided by the speed. So now I'll go back and have a look at the information. So the distance is 520 metres, and I've got to divide that by the speed. Well, the speed is 4 metres per second, so metres and metres, that's all good, they're the same. So I can just put this straight in, divide it by 4, and that will give me my answer. So 520 divided by 4, so 130. So again, if it didn't say here how long does it take him in seconds and you weren't sure in the units, here that the speed is measured in metres per second, so therefore it must be seconds here as well.